heard Suck MC, that's when I knew the times was changing. Because that was just the beat. There was no music. There was no nothing. It was just boom. It was like out of here. You know what I'm saying? It was like, damn.
It seemed like they brought the streets to the record to me. Because that Suck MC sound like they was actually in a park rhyming on the mic to me, you know, and they really brought the streets to vinyl.
Jam Master J, Run DMC.
It was Jam Master J, which was by Run DMC, had to scratch up part of this record called Scratching by the Magic Disco Band, and he was hearing a record again on a record. So this kind of led up to the sampling craze, and then when sampling really stepped up into the zone with the emulator, you talking about a real key person to really step up in that realm was Marley Marl. Marley Marl would actually take sampled bits and pieces of a particular original old dusty sound, and he took it and made his own thing, which I think was an inspiration to a lot of people to go into those records and come up with loops. The technology of the sampling equipment in the mid-1980s helped people like Marley Marl and therefore us out.
Hey, yo, Chuck, I think we taking short. Show us the soul Medina, man. Come on, kick it. Terminator X.
When we came out, every cut was like James Brown, you know?
Yeah.
Every cut.
Everybody was sampling. When they came out with samplers, you know, that just helped hip-hoppers out even more because most hip-hoppers back in the day couldn't afford to get a band and do all that stuff. So when sampling came out, it had made rappers able to, you know, be creative by themselves.
We added a trend. We had the singing with it. It was a faster pace. Right after the It Takes Two came out, it seemed like everybody just came out with somebody singing as a hook, and the beats got faster, you know. So, you know, hip-hop changed then, you know, to a faster pace.
Wow. Somebody had given me that track, and that guitar part sounded like it was saying Wild Thing to me. I probably had like too many beers that night. I took that, went home, wrote a song. It was a little bit more explicit probably, so they went over to Marvin, who was Young MC, and he came up with the other verses and put it together, and we just came up with a hit. It was all luck, I'm telling you, it was luck.
I didn't know what to say. I was hanging by a string. She said, hey, you too, I was once like you, and I like to do the wild thing.
It helped hip-hop a lot by crossing over. Those songs, including Funky Cold Medina, kind of introduced hip-hop to a lot of people. You know, different hip-hop, but I think the hip-hop world was upset that most of the jams kind of just stayed underground, and all of a sudden, boom, you know, here's this record, you know, with a totally kind of like different style than the rest of the songs, and a little bit more up-tempo.
Funky Cold Medina. You know, come on. Come on.
I had so much fun. I did so many shows off of those records. It was like, wow, like almost a decade ago, you know? And I was young, and I was more feisty, and I was, you know, really into just being crazy. You know, here we are a decade later almost. I'm, you know, more mature now. I'm a single parent. I just burnt myself out, I guess, you know what I'm saying? Young, so I'm giving myself a chance to rest for a little while. And being behind the scenes gives me that chance. The animation came through because of my voice. I wanted to be in a cartoon. What type of character could I play? I was always a heavy-set guy, and my eyes are like always kind of sad, so I always got called this big teddy bear. So I figured I would play a teddy bear.
Yo, I thought you was out of that smothering phase. Oh, heck, what's a bear hug between friends?
See, Barry the Mauler, it's a fat cartoon. There are no other cartoons that just play music nonstop all the way through. We try to keep it real, you know, and enjoyable.
Head through the rim over the park outside, making money in the back while I'm saying it's right. Hey, you thought it was weak, didn't know it was strong. I ain't to disappoint you, I got it going on.
One thing that kind of left me a little bit aside is that people really didn't get an opportunity to really see how I really rap. People really think that Wild Thing and Funky Cold Medina are my styles of rap. They're not. And that's kind of like one of the biggest reasons why I never had a chance to come back. A lot of people always say, yo, Tone, you know, you need to come over here and flip this and flip that. It sounds tight. But I'm like, you know, nobody want to hear Tone Loc, you know what I'm saying, busting no rhyme. You know, we heard Tone already. It's time to move on, you know what I'm saying, and let these younger cats in. And I'm cool with that.
That was just amazing that rap would be on tour, filling arenas, and having a whole bunch of people go, Back then, we were selling out Philly 2 nights in a row. It was bugged out for me. What am I doing out here playing for 20,000 people every night? It's just 2 turntables, a mixer, and 3 microphones. It was mad fun. It was unbelievable for me and Jay. We're getting a room. We used to share rooms and just couldn't go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? We just sit up all night just talking and talking and talking because it was so exciting.
We never stopped touring. We're still touring.
We never stopped touring since
The
the day we
venues
came
are
up.
smaller, but Run DMC still tours.
In the 80s, it was real cool. The thing that I liked the most was doing shows. It was so much fun to be able to go out on stage, just rock, drop the beat, rock, everybody have a good time.
You can't even describe the energy at a rap concert in the mid-'80s. One of my favorite videos in the 80s was Houdini's The Freaks Come Out at Night. It showed the fervor and just the energy in the arena. It was like this thing was spreading like wildfire, and it was like incredible because every seat was filled. Everybody felt safe, and that was just amazing that rap would be on tour, filling arenas, and having a whole bunch of people go,
It's like that, and that's the way it is.
The first concert I've ever gone to was the Raising Hell tour with Run DMC, LL Cool J, the Beastie Boys, Houdini. That was probably the biggest achievement for hip-hop, period.
Hell, what the hell gonna rock the world? While you walked up, not putting through this rock the bell.
Back then, you know, the Slim Brothers really had a love for it, and they would focus in on their rhymes and also on their stage shows. You seen cats coming on stage doing some amazing stuff, you know, that you just wouldn't expect to see from a rapper.
Kane would come out, he had a bathtub. I think this thing was a limo size. They pushing this thing, right? Kane's in there, he's in Speedos. Girls are screaming, bah! Ah! He turns around, gets his sneakers, and purposely turns his back to the crowd and bends over. Classic hip-hop moment.
We got some of the greatest rappers on this tour. Down with the posse, Russell Rush. We got MCs like Run. We got Chuck D. We got Rat B. We got Rakim. You know what I'm saying? We got DJ Hurricane.
That's right, boy.
There was so many rappers that would go out on one bill, and it was all done in fun.
Being on tour with Salt and Pepper, Kid and Play, UTFO, Fat Boys.
You share the same bus. With Heavy D in the voice. Those are the only guys that really know what Salt and Pepper look like in the morning.
We were doing things like having balloon fights, buying water guns. 20 people on a 15-passenger bus, just sleeping wherever you could, in the middle of the aisle, on the floor, on the chair, that was just going for like months.
You could go anywhere, play anywhere. People were really happy to see you come into their town. You know, it wasn't none of this East Coast, West Coast. It was just, we were all just rappers.
Everybody, Beastie Boys, LL Cool J,
Walk this way.
come back with us. How bad the f*** are we?
I caught like an end of an era where I toured with a lot of different groups. Now a lot of them don't get a chance to really get these tours without being on Lollapalooza or, you know, something like that with other singing groups, you know what I mean, to kind of balance out the crowd.
The promoters didn't have to pay all these astronomical fees and premiums for insurance, so they would book the rap acts in major arenas around the country. Now, times have changed. Some of the groups are a little bit more angry. Some of the music is a little more violent. Thus, the audience of the tracks is the same. So in turn, can't book the big arenas, can't get the big dates.
In the 90s, one of the problems in the rap game is that the respect was lost. And I think that another problem was that money came into play, which is a good thing, but I just think that they will go to any lengths to get it, and the disrespect became high.
Right now, it's the frame of mind where this rapper can't coexist with that rapper. East Coast can't exist with West Coast, and of course we can. It's a damn near $1 billion business. Of course we can.
I like to see the fun brought back into the culture. Too much negativity, too many people mad for nothing. You got people making millions of dollars mad.
Pump up the volume, pump up the volume.
The attitudes are even more aggressive and even greater, and the poets are even greater than they were then. But I think rap could probably borrow some of the ideas musically that the 80s had, the spirit that the producers of the 80s had.
There's songs from the 80s that when you throw on, people lose their mind. I mean, lose their mind. That's when you're playing with a classic. And the only time I've seen that in rap was that era.
To the hip, up the hip and to the hip of the hip, but how about you don't stop from rocking to the bang bang? You can say up, jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Let's give it a we rock, a Scooby-Doo. Guess what? America, we love you.
80s hip-hop was all love. It was all love back then. It was peace. Wasn't nobody getting beat up. Wasn't nobody getting killed.
Hip-hop needs to bring back the element of just party. That's fun. Let's don't take it so serious. This is music. We built this because we don't have tennis courts and golf courses. We can't get into Studio 54. We got to do our own partying. And that was the essence, and that's when it was pure, and I think we need to go back to that.
Way back. R-A-W.
Sorry, it's gonna beat. How y'all feel out there?
Yeah.
Brothers and sisters, you're about to witness something you've never witnessed before. Like this show.